Welcome back, and you're watching Market Fatafat on ET. Now, before we keep it going, we've seen that the rupee has weakened past the 82 to dollar mark, and intraday, this is the thing that we're keeping an eye out on. So surely rupee has weakened further. Keep an eye out on rupee as of now as well. But let's move on and bring on board Sapnesh Lalla, who is the Chief Executive Officer and Executive Director at NIIT, to talk about how the numbers were. Surely a good set of numbers coming in Q3 overall. Ramp up from acquisitions is also what you're seeing coming in. Sir, could you just start by talking to us in terms about the numbers? While your corporate learning surely has seen a growth coming in, the skills and career group, that segment has seen a bit of a decline coming in. So overall, what is your expectations in terms of outlook for both these segments? How are the volumes like for both these segments as well?
Thanks. A lot of questions in that short question, but let me see if I can answer all of them in sequence. So from an overall perspective, we saw NIIT's revenue grow 18% year on year and 16% on a quarter on quarter basis. We completed the acquisition of St. Charles Consulting Group in this past quarter, and they're based out of the United States and will become part of the corporate learning group. The corporate learning group improved their visibility from previous quarter to $321 million and now have 71 customers. They renewed all the 7 contracts that came up for renewal. The corporate business, the revenue grew at 22% year on year and 21% quarter on quarter. Part of it due to the acquisition of St. Charles, which happened on November 4th. In terms of your question about the skills and career group, the skills and career group saw phenomenal growth in the first 2 quarters owing to strong hiring sentiment with GSIs as well as strong training sentiment with respect to the large technology OEM companies. Over the last quarter, we saw a dampening of that sentiment, and while about 75% of our SNC business focuses on technology and GSIs and large tech OEM players, about 25% of that business focuses on the India enterprises, the banks and the large Indian conglomerates. And that part of the business saw reasonable mid-teens growth. So from an overall perspective, while the SNC business appeared to be flat from a QOQ perspective, and again, that is a seasonally weak quarter for SNC. So it appeared flat compared to how rapidly it has grown in the past, but predominantly owing to the macroeconomic uncertainties in the environment, as specifically related to the hiring sentiment with GSIs and large tech companies.
Good afternoon, Mr. Lalla. This is Cheryl also joining in the conversation. I was just taking a look at your numbers, and your EBITDA margins have seen a good spike when you compare it on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Approximately excess of 550 basis point uptick on a quarter-on-quarter basis, what your EBITDA margin has registered. Could you tell us what exactly has actually led to this sort of an uptick in your margins, and what are the steps that you're taking to make sure that this will be sustainable? Firstly, is this sustainable going ahead?
Sure. Great question. The profit margin has seen significant improvement, as you pointed out, a little over 500 basis points improvement. Part of it owing to strong measures on cost optimization as well as resource utilization, as well as not having to incur a couple of one-time expenses that we had in the previous quarter on account of a couple of transitions that had started where those transitions have resulted into run rate revenue. So that expense is now connected with revenue. And then we had a one-time spike in marketing cost because we did a large event for some of our our customers in North America and Europe. So those one-time expenses are not likely to come back for some time. And then the improvement in resource utilization and cost optimization measures are also likely to continue.
Okay. So, just going to pick up a point from that in terms of just the real estate demand market, especially in the North America, has seen a steeper decline, than what we were expecting in terms of the activity levels. So, does that, in any way will see an impact coming in? Is that a worry point for you as well then?
Well, there is uncertainty given the high interest rates, and there is lower demand for residential housing given the higher interest rates. But you should note that the program that we have results into a person graduating from the program in about a year. So from an overall perspective, real estate is considered as a safe second career for many folks. While we'll see a little bit of a lack of demand over the next couple of quarters, but the first quarter of the calendar year, that's Jan, Feb, March, tends to be a higher quarter than as compared to other quarters. But we'll see moderation in demand, which I think will stay flat over the next few quarters till the mortgage rates stabilize and demand picks back up.
We'll leave it there. Thank you so much, Mr. Lalla, for joining us on the show to talk about the quarter gone by for NIIT Limited and what to expect going ahead. The visuals on your screen is from, we will be having the CA